Well, welcome back to another Waynos Fotos video. And yes, carbon fibre quality on bicycle frames has really been in the spotlight at the moment. We have Hambini just reviewing a Trifox frame, and we also have Durian Rider from good old South Australia down under offering frames under $1,000 USD. And these frames appear or are as good as frames that are 5 to 10 times as expensive. Well, anyway, let's have a look. Why is this the case, and what are the variables here after we roll that intro? Now, what is the really weird thing here is we have frames that range from under $1,000 up to frames that could be $6,000 to $8,000. And we have ones at the top end from the original equipment manufacturer, and we actually have ones that are from the original equipment manufacturer. In fact, most cases, the same manufacturer, but selling them under their own names or under someone else's name, which is under an open frame. And our open frame is a frame that is not been designed by original equipment manufacturer. It is basically a generic frame. But the thing is that we're looking at here is the quality, and the quality appears to be as good as, if not better. Now, what really is the variable here? And that is really the big elephant in the room, because if they're built in the same factory, the processing is going to be the same, and probably even the workers are going to be the same, and the way that they do the temperature curing of the frames is all the same. So what is changing to get this quality difference between these cheaper bikes and these more expensive bikes, and why is there such a price difference? Now, the elephant in the room here is quality control. Now, first of all, we need to have a bit of a basic discussion about quality control. Now, quality control does not mean that a product is good or bad. All it is representing is the variance that the actual manufacturer sets for their product to stay within those set guidelines. Now, we may have a manufacturer that wants to manufacture things to a very low tolerance, so the quality control will be better. Not the quality control will be better, their actual variance will be less, so the product then will actually be more accurate of each sample, will be more similar. Whilst the product may actually have a wider variance, and the product will have a much wider variance, or what one person gets to another could vary more than the one which sets a lower variance. Now, both of those products actually are quality control. Now, this bell curve is basically representative of the total population of all of the products that you may make. And because there is variance, this curve will actually spread out gradually like this. Now, what you do is you actually set your variance on that bell curve, and where those variances cut off, then you say those ones outside that are rejected. So that is your actual quality control. And if you want to actually change that bell curve, then that actually is quite a different thing to do, because then you actually need to spend money to change the process to make the actual tolerances less. Like you might need a better oven to actually heat cure the products, or the staff or the way that they're actually putting the carbon fibre in may actually use a different process or use robotics that's more consistent. So that's changing the process, and that's actually quite expensive. So what people do is they basically say, hey, we've got this bell curve and we're just going to cut it off here, and then these ones here are all fit for purpose of the actual bicycle frames that are actually going to go out to the customers. And the elephant in the room is the actual end manufacturer, which is our name brand, is actually relaxing the variance and allowing more bikes to come out which are of a greater variance from the design tolerances. So this is actually the elephant in the room. It's nothing to do with how they're making the bike or they're making them better. It's just that they're willing to accept a bigger variance on the frames than, say, another name or label that is coming out of exactly the same factory. So if I'm making, say, 100,000 bikes and a number of those are going to different manufacturers, then we may have different manufacturers that have different tolerances or variances of that tolerance. So ones that one manufacturer may not accept, another manufacturer might. So those frames still go out. And that is actually really the difference. It's basically what the actual manufacturer is specifying to the factory is really what we get as an end consumer. Well guys, so what it comes down to is it comes down to what they're prepared to pay for from the manufacturer. Whether it's a $200 frame or $250 frame. Well, actually the $250 frame will be lower tolerances. And that's what ends up coming to our end consumer. And the reason why they're sensitive to these small changes in prices is because those prices from the factory compound through the whole system and distribution system. So what may be $20 at the manufacturer may actually add up to significant dollars at the actual shop, because everyone gets a percentage markup on that price, and it makes them less competitive, or there's less profit. So manufacturers are choosing to actually lower the variance in the tolerances, widen the variance in tolerances to actually make a few more dollars or offer that product a little bit cheaper. Well guys, it's probably not the actual news you want to hear, but that's the reality of business. But unfortunately, the tolerances are being moved out to such a degree that these bicycles are not really becoming fit for purpose. And for what we pay for them, it's a little bit disappointing. And you'd expect if you're paying 5 to 10 times as much, you'd be getting a product that actually has a lower variance in tolerances, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Well, anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to leave it. I hope the manufacturers are learning a little bit from this and the events that have been happening in the media with one of the manufacturing brands from Germany, that it can come back to bite you if you don't take care in the initial processes and design and quality control of your bikes in the manufacturing process. See ya.